take part in the restart.
In lap restart, and a bit of pain and a bit of discomfort. And we're just trying to do their started tumbling towards the middle of the circuit on the run down to turn 10. Here is then your revised grid, or it was.
There was it. Acosta, Fernandez and Martin definitely is. Anyone has a soft rear. Aldeguer and Marini together on from Agura, and Marco Bezzecchi 12th, which is of course exactly where we started the original Grand Prix. Quartararo, Moreira and Vinales on the 5th row. Vinales the sole remaining Tech 3. KTM running. Miller, Rins and Toprak next up ahead of Augusto Fernandez and Brad Binder in 20th place. So two riders do not take the restart for differing reasons, but both very obvious. Enea Bastianini, who had already broken down. Kez, who is on his way to hospital. We sent him all our very best for further examinations after that collision with the stuttering. He was leading the race and will therefore be leading the grid. He will start from pole position for this restart. Pit lane is now open, and it will be open for another 50 seconds for the 20 riders that remain to try, as difficult as it is for all of us, to shut that incident out of their minds. Particularly difficult for the likes of Acosta, who was of course to Gian Antonio, Martin, Fernandez and Zarco, who were all in the wake.
Second bite of the cherry then of all 20 riders here in this restarted Catalan Grand Prix. There's Davide Tardozzi, a factory Ducati boss. There is Raul Fernandez, who along with Zarco and Digia was caught up in the instant behind Pedro. Our team was certainly in podium and victory contention in that first part, wasn't he, as the lane is going to close very, very shortly. Right here it was, where we had all the drama, the horrible crash, the horrible incident and collision involving Acosta and Alex Marquez. Alex to a nearby hospital where he'll undergo GM banner there, the orange flag. Is the damaged Pedro Acosta #1 factory KTM before the red flag drama. So a quick restart procedure implemented once again. I thought it was just explained. One mechanic, one member of team personnel is allowed onto the grid. Just
okay, but in terms of the Grand Prix that we now have ahead of us, real opportunity here for Jorge Martin. You had already earlier on today. Jorge Martin was absolutely mustered off the line. He rocketed up the order. He was up as high as 4th or 5th by the time they even got to turn 1 at the start of the Grand Prix. So he, alongside Raul Fernandez and Pedro Acosta, surely he's going to be thinking at this stage, we've got a great chance potentially to lead.
Once again here now in Catalonia. Yesterday's sprint won by Alex Marquez was over 12 laps, running a Grand Prix of Catalonia. Some riders are going to have their pain thresholds tested as well, and there's all of them unable to avoid some of the going from pole. No problems for Joan Zarco, just trying to find a bit of clear traffic. Jack just informing us that this is a straight shootout in terms of rear tyres, and over the shortened format, everybody. So effectively, we're going to get sprint #2, aren't we, here this
today? But Pedro Acosta will still, of course, have that opportunity, which is still being afforded. Which will restart. Of course, the one rider that really did push him yesterday is no longer on the grid. Alex Marquez will not take this restart. So is this, in the most extraordinary and unusual of circumstances, this now his big opportunity?
To drop one position late on. So for the second time of asking, we come under starters orders here in Barcelona. It's Jorge Martin who takes that 3rd place on the grid with our well wishes that go to the number 73. And we're racing once again here in MotoGP in Barcelona, and this time around here's Jorge Martin, who makes another stunning start on the factory Aprilia. He drops in behind 26 a factory Honda. Mir's going to drop in his second place
into Marini and Bagnaia.
Oh, and Zarco's got tangled in the bike. Zarco got stuck in. Red flag once again. No choice but to stop this. No choice whatsoever. We've seen down the years so many nasty incidents on that long run down into the first corner here in Barcelona. One of the longest runs from the rider's starting position before they hit the brakes for the first time. Pecco Bagnaia has more turn one woes here in Catalonia. He's on his feet but holding his left wrist. Johan Zarco, who clearly was caught and tangled up in one of those crash bikes.
He clearly had a poor start at Zarco to be running into the back of Luca Marini, who'd started, fourth place. He's got 3 more riders down. Of course, we pray and hope that Johan Zarco is A-OK. It looked like he just couldn't get the bike stopped. Of course, he was in the middle of a pack, and no doubt the slipstream effect up behind the likes of Luca Marini up ahead. Zarco just could not get that Honda stopped, and obviously nowhere to go except straight into the pack ahead.
So, for the second time here today in Barcelona, and the MotoGP race has been red flagged. The initial running over 24 scheduled laps flag. This time around, Italians Pecco Bagnaia and Luca Marini involved. Poor old Johan Zarco as well. Remember a nasty first corner incident back in 2006. Marco Melandri getting tangled up in a bike as well. Taka Nakagami a few years ago when he lost control of his LCR Honda, his head made contact in it with the rear tyre of Pecco Bagnaia's Ducati on that occasion.
Bagnaia trying to get that bike back onto the racetrack. Of course, less than 3 laps completed, so we will go back to the original grid positions. Of course, those riders that are eligible to take the restart. Of course, it's often the case, isn't it? One red flag often breeds another. It just heightens the tension for everyone out there on the racetrack. Medical Director info, all riders are conscious. We can see 2 of them there, of course, Luca Marini and Pecco Bagnaia, who certainly, we saw Pecco holding his left arm a little bit, but otherwise he would appear to be okay, and his focus now is on getting himself back to the pitch. You already saw the factory Ducati team preparing his second bike. And Luca Marini, of course, on his Honda, he's also trying to plot the easiest way back to the pits so he can take part in the restart.
So back in the Trackhouse Aprilia garage goes Ayagura. There is Marini. We've already seen Pecco Bagnaia making his way back to the paddock on the back of a scooter. There is Marini. You can just see him in the middle of the picture. It's a great start by his fellow factory Honda rider Juan around the outside. We're on board at the moment with the factory Aprilia World Championship leader Marco Bezzecchi. He's got Ralph Fernandez directly ahead of him, and unfortunately Johan Zarco, just in way too hot, makes contact with Marini's rear tyre. So it looks like Zarco actually got caught up and tangled with his own bike, and on the outside, wrong place, wrong time, it was Pecco Bagnaia who also got collected in that incident. Danny Aldridge then now the MotoGP technical director in a bit of a summit there. Davide Brivio was there, Gino Borsoi, Prima Pramac Yamaha team boss looking on, and obviously there was some big concern for the welfare of his rider, Lucio Cecchinello, LCR Honda boss, rather anxiously looking at the screens after that real nasty incident involving Johan Zarco.
As always, they will take their time with this. Of course, it's inconvenient for everybody to have long delays like this, but they are wholly necessary. They need to give the rider the very best possible care at whatever incident he's been in. It's the kind of thing, comfort. Of course, you don't want to move a rider if he's particularly injured, either his legs or potentially his arms or part of his neck. You need to make sure that he's in the best possible care. Ambulance just there in the long lap penalty. Lost 1 lap now from the 13 that we were going to have, is now down to 12 laps when we do get underway for a 3rd time. And of course, 12 laps was the sprint distance yesterday.
He's just angled up with his bike. There's Luca Marini then now sprinting back to try and hopefully start his 100th MotoGP race. Marini, you can see there with a new suit on there. Let's go down once again to Jack for a further update. Jack.
Yeah, no idea yet. It's going to be minimum 5 minutes before pit lane will be open. New race distance, as I think you guys confirmed. Third start once again. The teams have all just been informed of that information.
Thanks very much, Jack. Really good picture there is Johan Zarco. He's just going to miss his braking marker here, isn't he?
He already has, hasn't he?
On the outside, sliding into the gravel trap. So having nothing that Pekka Bagnaia knew about that, of course. Zarco, unfortunately, got tangled up between the rear seat and the rear tyre.
Yeah, nothing Bagnaia could do about that, and it's so easily done. We've talked about it all weekend. It's one of the long-standing start on the grid here. You're getting yourself well up towards 330, 340 kilometres an hour, well over 200 miles an hour, and then you're all braking, you're disengaging, and it's so easy to have an incident like that when you just get hoovered up in the slipstream with someone else. And yeah, it looked, didn't it, from the aerial shot, Zarco had missed his braking marker. It was clear from...
Yeah, he'd have done his best to try and take an evasive action, but Zarco into the back of Luca Marini, Honda on Honda, and then poor old Johan Zarco. I mean, a millimetre left, a millimetre right, all this spots for some maybes, but he would not have got himself into that position where he could get tangled up with Pekka Bagnaia's factory Ducati. So 2 red flags then here. All riders who started the 13-lap restart are eligible for the second restart. Of course, that does then include LCR Honda rider Johan Zarco, although we have to expect, given the fact that he's undergoing, will be missing from this restarted Catalan Grand Prix, along with Enea Bastianini and Alex Marquez. So 2 red flags we've had here this afternoon in Catalonia. The new race distance will be over 12 laps, which is exactly the same number of laps to greens, and hoping that everything's okay, or relatively okay, with their rider Johan Zarco as his LCR Honda crew. Pekka Bagnaia, we saw him get on a scooter pretty quickly to get himself back into pit lane. Let's get a word on the double MotoGP World Champion. Jack, down to you.
Yeah, he's just got back to the box, but he's gone into his office just to change out of the damaged leathers he was in with the crash he was just involved in. But the second bike is here, ready to go. Davide Tardozzi just confirming that.
Thanks very much for that latest update, Jack. So Johan Zarco, as you can see from the helicopter shot, is being transferred into a trackside ambulance. They're very quick to act with the red flag. They were to arrest in that turn 1 gravel trap. So all we can really say, with no confirmation when this restart will happen, is, once again, our thoughts, all of our...
And as with earlier, with the first stoppage, we will get 5 minutes of notice for when this Grand Prix is going to get underway. Yeah, let's just hope to the checkered flag in one piece, because this has been a dramatic afternoon. Of course, the first incident involving Pedro Acosta's broken down KTM, Alex Marquez, which then impacted 2 or 3 other riders behind him. The ice pack is now in the Ducati box for Pekka Bagnaia. I think it's his left arm that he was concerned with. We saw his fair share of drama and red flags and trips to hospital before here at the circuit to Barcelona, Catalonia. He doesn't want another, and Luca Marini has now successfully changed leathers.
Plenty of ice packs put to use in pit lane. We saw Johan Zarco himself getting his left ankle iced before that restart, a restart which was red flagged, unfortunately, for an incident which did involve the 35-year-old Frenchman. Enter and to the state-of-the-art medical facilities here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. So Pekka Bagnaia and Luca Marini both quickly back to the paddock, and they are eligible for this restart. So at the third time of asking, Marini will at least get a chance to complete in his 100th MotoGP. Zarco has just been transferred to medical centre for further checks, as you can see on the screens. A very dramatic and eventful day for the factory KTM squad, with Pedro Acosta involved in that nasty incident with Alex Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, still 12 laps to go here into Pedro's bike, Aki.
We don't know exactly yet, but seems like there is some kind of electronic problem which caused the stop of the bike, but actually
during the race. Then a problem for Pedro. Is there a concern that there's something bigger happening here?
No, at the moment seems like things are not related to each other. So there was, let's say, quite normal clutch issue for Brad, that maybe he caused it already when he started the warm-up lap and overheating the clutch. And seems like Enea has some kind of, let's say, mechanical problem.
For Pedro, how difficult is it for him to refocus after an incident as big as that?
I think for all the riders now it's really difficult, Kate, but it's part of our business.
Absolutely. Thanks, Aki.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. Thanks to Akiayo. As he mentioned, unfortunately, crashes, injuries, technical problems. It's all part of the game. It's all part of the business in the models. But you ask them, they would not want to earn a living any other way other than racing the fastest motorcycles in the world. So this is latest information. Then the pit lane will reopen. The pit lane will open at 15:12 at local time. So just over 5 minutes time over the shortened distance now of 12 laps, mirroring yesterday's sprint yesterday afternoon. And once again, it will be the quick restart procedure.
Beneath us in the grandstand, because the ambulance, the medical centre, as we look, is in fact directly outside our commentary box. It's just past the podium. The ambulance is now going past us, underneath us, into pit lane, and then directly to where he'll await the arrival of Johan's.
So 4.5 minutes away from the pit lane reopening. There is Pedro Acosta, who for the third time on this Sunday is going to be starting in this Catalan Grand Prix from a pole position. Made a good start in that restart to make sure he fended off the fast starting Jorge Martin. It is, I'm sure he went home, 15:08 local time here in Barcelona. So 4 minutes away. Big start there is Joan Mir as well. Of course, he was involved himself, an innocent party in yesterday's sprint at the first corner, where a little bit of contact between Gian Antonio, minimal contact if any, sent Brad Binder down the road. And then unfortunately Brad Binder's fallen factory KTM skittled out Joan Mir. But today quite clearly race direction, having no other alternative after the nasty incident involving Johan Zarco, with Italians Bagnaia and Marini also involved.
Tricky thing you have, trying to get that good start. Let's head down to VR46. Of course, Fabio Gian Antonio was injured in the first restart. He will be taking this third restart from fourth. Pablo Nietos with Jack.
Yeah, helmet on first incident. What did he tell you?
Yeah, he didn't see the bike, so you know, when this kind of things happen, it's very difficult to the riders to try to jump the problem, no? But anyway, more or less he's okay, and now it's a lot of adrenaline, so this is normal. But I think we can beat
bruise?
Yes, a bruise. So this is normal when you have this kind of crash.
Thanks, Pablo.
Thank you.
Bruising then on the hand of are going to make this 12-lap restart. I mean, we've got walking wounded, we've got Fabio Di Gianantonio, we've got Pecco Bagnaia, Luca Marini, Ralph Fernandez. I'm asking to complete this Grand Prix of Barcelona getaway. The battle that those fans have turned up to watch here today.
And a reminder that Enea Bastianini too is also out of this race. Second red flag. Of course, if you'd had a red flag in the first 3 laps of the half distance, the original start, because this second red flag was in the first 3 laps of the new race, that is why we then have the same grid positions of what we already saw. Acosta, Fernandez and Martin on the front of the grid. Morbidelli will still start from his 6th place grid position. They won't all move up one. He will start from 6th place. There will just be an empty space in the middle of row 2.
So there is Pecco Bagnaia's factory Ducati being readied before this restart. Pedro Acosta from pole once again. Shark fans, they've been out in force here this weekend. Acosta has treated them to some show so far. Fastest on Friday, fastest in qualifying yesterday. Just pipped to a sprint win here by Alex Marquez in the tightest ever sprint. We are 20 seconds away from yet another quick restart procedure here in Barcelona. Just a quick reminder, one mechanic come to their allocated grid position, and then we'll be back underway for what is now a 12-lap Catalan Grand Prix, just as it was the distance in yesterday's sprint. Of course,
sun still out above us. There are a few ominous looking clouds into the distance. Of course, we've gone way past the point now where the original Grand Prix should have finished, but it doesn't appear as if we're going to get any rain coming in, although I guess there'll be half an eye on that. There was a very, very small chance, about a 10% chance or so that we might get some rain at around about 3:30 in the afternoon, I recall. We are now coming up to 3:15 in the afternoon, but it doesn't appear as if those clouds are about to drop any rain on us in the next 20 minutes or so, so hopefully we should get this strong.
Thank you very much. We don't need the elements intervening as well. As remaining 19 riders then come to the grid. Zarco and Alex Marquez through injury. Enea Bastianini unfortunately not involved. Luckily for Enea's case, he's perfectly A-OK physically wise, but a technical issue, wasn't eligible for the first restart either. So a spectator, an unwanted spectator, is the beast here in Barcelona. As we track Pedro Acosta then now, it's going to emerge from Jorge Martin. And we know how good Martin is at firing that Aprilia off the line. It looked like he briefly got ahead of Acosta on that first restart on the run down to the first corner. Acosta then did get the whole shot before there was all the drama that unfolded behind the top two Spaniards. So coming to the middle of that front row of the grid goes Raul Fernandez. If you're wondering why there's the space there in P5, unfortunately that should have been occupied by Joan Zarco. And as we know, he has been ruled out. He's undergoing treatment in the Circuit Medical Centre. That's why there's a gap there on that second row of the grid in between the two VR46 Ducati. We are going to get a conclusion to this pretty eventful race day Sunday here in Barcelona.
Yeah, there are still 25 points to be fought for, still a Grand Prix victory to be claimed by somebody, still a very tight World Championship situation, with Marco Bezzecchi 2 points ahead of Jorge Martin. Martin, reminder, starts from the front row of the grid for this heat. He is back on the fourth row, which is where he was around about an hour and a quarter ago when the first part of this Catalan Grand Prix got underway. On board with Jorge Martin, some sort of issue himself on the way down to turn one, lost a bit of momentum and then dropped back into the pack ever so slightly. And so he has another opportunity now from the outside of the front row. And for the likes of Mir, Aldeguer and Marini, who are on that third row, that empty space will enable them to, as they hope, just drive straight through that gap and potentially move themselves up the order. Of course, heightened tension, as we mentioned, with this third start, particularly what's happened already here this afternoon. So fingers crossed we get the 19 riders who are going to take this start to the checker flag safely.
Acosta then on pole position. Fernandez and Martin join him on what is now an all-Spanish front row. Well, it was, of course, with Alex Marquez there in the original restart. Yeah, there's a bit of tension in the atmosphere ahead of this now third attempt to complete this Catalan Grand Prix. Just on my comps box window, I can see both Marini and Bagnaya's crash bikes returning to the paddock after they were involved in the incident with Zarco, which brought out a second red flag on this race day Sunday here in Barcelona. So for the third time of asking, over 12 laps, we're going to go racing again here in Catalonia. It's the Catalan Grand Prix take 3. Lights out and racing then here in Montmeló. It's a little poor start by Fabio Di Gianantonio on the 49 VR46 Ducati. He's been passed already by Joan Mir. Acosta and Martin are going to go toe-to-toe and tough it out on the brakes into the first corner. Once again, it's Acosta, though, that just drops across the head of the factory Aprilia rider.
And Pecco Bagnaia, credit to him, his left hand in pain. He's also
12-lap sprint format. This is a massive opportunity, isn't it, as far as Martin's concerned. He's all further contact there.
On Bezzecchi, I think.
Was it Aldeguer? I think it was Aldeguer. Yeah, Aldeguer on the 54 bike that gives...
Taking him down!
Raul Fernandez then on the inside. Well, these two rubbed fairings yesterday in the sprint at turn 5. And Raul Fernandez will talk about an own goal as far as Aprilia are entitled to do. So Jorge Martin, after a double win in Le Mans last weekend, now has a double DNF.
One Aprilia takes out another, and just ever get the feeling, the restart, he's now leading this Grand Prix map from Joan Mir, Pecco Bagnaia and Fabio Quartararo.
Crash number 5 of the weekend for Jorge Martin. What a difference a week makes in MotoGP. A double victory, pure elation last weekend for Martin, and a 5th crash, and this one not of his own doing. Full win last time out. Acosta then it is that leads. Juan Mir, the big benefactor of the Aprilia tangle there. Martin has rejoined, so maybe it's not a double DNF for him. Was that Brad Binder going a little bit hot there into the first corner further down the field? Martin, though, back upright. The incident between him and Fernandez is under investigation.
Yeah, Binder's dropped to 13th after sailing wide into that first corner. So Acosta leads from Mir. They're on the soft rear tyre. Information on our timing screens is that Bagnaia in 3rd is on the medium as we nearly get another collision between a Trackhouse Aprilia. This time it's Segura getting nerfed wide by Aldeguer. They're battling for 6th place, believe it or not.
Yeah, and that's allowed Bezzecchi to squeeze on through as well. Into turn 5 we go, where there was that controversial moment between the two bikes on the opposite side of the garage there. It's Bezzecchi versus Segura. On that one, it was Fernandez versus Martin. Simon Crafar is going to be busy in the F1 MotoGP Stewards office. So a little bit premature, I want to say it's a double DNF for Jorge Martin, but this is a big, big talking point, a big controversial moment in this year's MotoGP World Challenge, because has that once again denied Jorge Martin the chance to lead this year's championship? Oh, Massimo
Tense
Riva.
discussions there, weren't they?
Ooh,
Massimo Riva and the outgoing Davide Brivio at the end of this season. Not really sure what Davide Brivio could say at this stage, because it was Raul who made the contact. Jorge Martin so often puts his left shoulder down through turn 5. Unfortunately, his left shoulder was contacted by a Trackhouse Aprilia.
What was Massimo Rivola's clear message about a potential title fight between Marco Bezzecchi and Jorge Martin? Yeah, they can race each other hard, but it has to be done with respect. He will not be happy about that. It's a massive own goal from the Aprilias. Fabio Di Gianantonio, though, is the quickest rider on circuit.
Zarco so involved in the first part of the race. So we look back at the 36 of Mir.
Sorry, exactly.
Well,
sorry.
So he hasn't actually completed one here.
No. Right.
Here we
How
go.
quick's that Honda?
Oh, I tell you what, he's got the power down well.
Elite Pedro Acosta.
You know, someone who might be able to outbrake a Pedro is a Juan Mir.
Juan Mir is, that Honda stops well, and Mir is good on the brakes.
Meanwhile, behind, Pecco Bagnaia. How will that affect things as this race goes on? That's the information we've got anyway from the digital timing screen, as in the digital sensors on the bike. We believe that to be the case.
Pedro looks relaxed, comfortable, not forcing it too much at the front. They'll be keeping an eye on his pit board.
Yeah, lap times than it would have been. You know, we just started getting into the 39s, didn't we, when the incident happened here between Acosta and Alex Marquez.
The sprint race was quicker. They are holding more back.
Yeah, and
because that's what they learned from the sprint race.
Fabio Di Gianantonio up into 3rd. Clean, perfect. That's the soft tyre as well, perhaps. Just give him that little bit extra punch down towards turn 10.
Yeah, definitely. And helps in stopping with the engine braking strategy. Slightly softer rubber. The pull back from the rear tyre definitely helps. Right, we're going to see a Honda lead.
Let's have a look. That's the 3rd place rider behind, Fabio Di Gianantonio. Fastest rider at the moment on track is Fermin Aldeguer, just behind him 5th. Not enough on this occasion for Juan Mir to come through. Look at Iagura holding off Marco Bezzecchi, who's still down in 8th place.
Yeah, any young riders watching this, just watch Pedro Acosta. He comes out of the last corner and he drifts all the way over to the white line.
Wide there.
Where the pit boards are. Why does he do that? Well, if you're coming up behind him quicker, you can't pass him on his right. So then basically, he's already defending the inside lines before you even get to the braking zones. He's forcing everyone to his left.
We've had some information from the LCR Honda team as Ayagura now attacks Fabio Quartar's condition, awaiting further tests, and more information. We'll let you know more when we have it. So
that is good news, because
I mean, it's not going to be. He's going to have injuries. There's no doubt about it.
But that's good.
Same for Alex Marquez, who went down there earlier in this race. We wish them both the very best of health. Pedro Acosta leads in our second, Neil, as well. That's another factor to bear in mind.
I would love to be inside Mir's head. What's he thinking now? He sits just 18th in the championship.
You know what I think? Because he said this remember in America, he was there. He said, well, I just thought I'm here. I'm up for it. I'm going to go for it. And you would, wouldn't you? He's that kind of rider. He's a world champion, you know.
Yeah.
And he
inside. And he's forced that mistake. That Pedro's forced that mistake. So clever. Pedro does it better than anyone in this class. He's making himself so wide.
We were re-watching the 2009 Grand Prix here between Rossi and Lorenzo. Made himself narrow when he went past Lorenzo on the brakes on one of those, which was quite entertaining to watch. On board with Bez. Just can't get through on the Yamaha here.
No, Quartararo's hard to pass on the brakes, funnily enough.
Ayagura's another one on the medium rear tyre, so that might cost him.
There's time.
Front tyres are an issue too. Who had a fresh front tyre available? That's probably another question mark that we haven't had answered by Michelin.
Yeah, wider than you'd want to be. You can pull it back, as you can see, Pedro. There's a lot of late apexes on this track, these long hanging corners.
I've noticed him doing it a little bit, Pedro. Is that tyre conservation?
It could be. I mean, you spend less time then on the edge, essentially.
Which is where they do have
an issue,
problem, don't they?
Yeah.
They have improved this year, no doubt about it. Right, here we go. KTM versus Honda versus Ducati. 1, 2, 3. Little just get close to him.
No.
Slots in behind, though. Just reached the halfway point of this restarted race. 6 laps down, 6 to go. To the Italian Grand Prix. But as it stands, we are still racing here at the Barcelona-Catalunya circuit. The medium tyre for Pecco Bagnaia. I think it might be just too little too late by then.
Well, Digi's looking good there in third, isn't it? Closing on them. Looks really comfortable. Bikes in.
Of Alex Marquez's bike.
Right, he's going to get the run here.
You'd expect that the Ducati would drive better down towards turn 10, but then you're up against the Honda that stops brilliantly.
Really difficult to pass on the brakes.
It's exaggeratedly deep there, isn't it? As in, just making himself as big as possible. On board with Pedro. Race, but it sounds like it's running sweetly now. Into the home straight there. Honda deep on the brakes for Pedro Acosta. But he knows he's under pressure though now, as Ayagura now comes through and up to 5th, past Bagnaia. It's tightening up. We have got a race on our hands here.
Here we go. Here we go. Look at Pedro though.
Three-way
battle. Makes himself so difficult to pass.
Oh, he's gone wide again, but again, we'll cut back.
Right, there's the yo-yo effect.
And it's hard as well for Digi in this instance, because while Mir's trying to make a move, he's also trying to find a way through.
Yeah, you are blocked then. It's too risky for Digi to try a move, because then you can end up hitting the back of Pedro.
Just needs to pounce on any mistake here. Behind, Fermin Aldeguer is the fastest rider. Ayagura also going to personal
Here we go,
best.
Digi. Maybe.
Yes, here he comes. Fabio Di Gianantonio, where he suffered that injury in the first part of the race.
Look at the different lines. Look at the different lines.
The Ducati's able himself some tyre. Has experience from the sprint race at the front yesterday with Alex Marquez. This time the Ducati's battling against is Fabio Di Gianantonio.
And if you just want to remind yourself 7 days ago what happened, last lap, Digi past Pedro, did the look back, which went down like a lead balloon. Pedro was not happy, thought it was disrespected. Here we go.
Fabio Di Gianantonio almost got alongside. Pedro I'll keep it in my back pocket. I.e., you've got it coming back at you. So if Fabio does get... Who's going to turn underneath him then? If Fabio does get through, expect fireworks. 3.5 laps to go. And again, Pedro runs that bit deeper. It means, though, Digi can't turn. I think Digi's the strongest of the trio at the moment, but how much is Pedro saving in reserve? Just on a 140.6 at the front.
Yeah, that's slow.
There's riders in the 39s like Agura, and Aldeguer are closing. Look in the back of shot.
Yeah, 4 laps to go. What, 3.5? Here we go.
Not close enough. Costa in front. Fabio Di Gianantonio behind. Again, the Ducati turns so much tighter than the KTM. Through 11 and into 12, into the stadium section. Uphill all the way through. Again, Acosta just runs it deep. He's just running sort of V's everywhere.
V's everywhere, so you can't pass him on the way in because he brakes later because he's on a different line to everyone else. Is this lap faster?
Yeah, it won't be interesting to see, won't it? Now he knows that he's under pressure from Fabio Di Gianantonio. Right, Digi, like Alex Marquez yesterday, has he got the power down out of the final corner?
He's definitely...
But again, Pedro Acosta super strong on the brakes. And he almost forced a little mistake there out of Di Gianantonio. Di Gianantonio thinking about a move into turn 3. It's turning so much better than the bus in front of Pedro Acosta.
It's a bus.
From Aldeguer. Has he got anything left?
And we know Aldeguer will force it.
Oh yeah, he's already done it a couple of times in this race. Ask Bezecchi. Ask Agura.
I mean, look how defensive he is. Pedro's to block.
For 2.5 laps, he's got to keep doing it. Wasn't able to do it in front of Alex Marquez yesterday. Can Digi work a way through, work it out, how to do this? Here we go, down towards turn 10.
He's doing it, he's letting the brake off.
He's having a go
Here
on the inside, and Fabio Di Gianantonio takes the lead of the Grand Prix here. Pedro Acosta tries to ride around the inside of him, and then Digi will have...
He's going to try and do the... Oh no, I'm going to say he's going to try and do the cut back there, but not this time.
Di Gianantonio leads the Grand Prix here at Barcelona, Catalunya. He's got a Spaniard, but 2 Spaniards behind him. 3 if you count Aldeguer. In front of Valentino Rossi, who's done it here himself. Look at how much he pulled through the final corner. Keep him at bay, and now Juan Mir fancies a piece of the action, but he can't pass Acosta on the brakes. Digi is giving Acosta no chance here. He's been the quicker bike, stretching away now. Has not won any other race than Qatar 2023, Fabio Di Gianantonio.
That's right, yeah, easy to forget.
So between this 3 at the front, well, between 4 of them, we've got 3 Grand Prix wins. Aldeguer, Mir and Digi all with 1.
Doesn't it show that how well Pedro was blocking? Yeah. Because now, look, I mean, he's gone, hasn't he, Digi? What's he got? 0.7?
0.6, he's up to 0.7 now. Because the Ducati's behind, and then the Aprilia's behind of Aldeguer and Agura. Fingers crossed for Pablo Nieto on home soil for him, for the VR46 team. Pedro, did he have a little look then? See who he's got for company. It's Ducati from KTM, from Honda, another Ducati, Bezecchi, behind Bagnaia still, 3 seconds.
Because I think Mir's going to have a go into turn 1.
I think he is. I think you're right there.
But it's going to be tight.
1 lap to go. Fabio Di Gianantonio's had his life flash before his eyes now. And over the white line on the inside, and Mir sends it down into turn 1.
Must go wide.
That is a brilliant move from Juan Mir. How strong does he like it on the brakes there from Mir? And just drives on the inside.
Just grip. That is nothing Pedro could do at all.
Brilliant from Aldeguer as well, though. Mir in second, Aldeguer third. Acosta now is under pressure, and Agura now trying to turn underneath him. It's cruel to Pedro. His bike cut out in the first part of the race, but it looks like no silverware for the KTM man today.
No, there's nothing Pedro can do. Too far back, no acceleration, no side grip. The bike doesn't turn.
How did he hang on? Very worried about Alex Marquez, who's lying in hospital in Barcelona. Juan Mir made a brilliant move down there to turn 1 to get past Pedro Acosta to move into second. I'm not sure even if that's how it's going to finish, but one thing is almost certain. Fabio Di Gianantonio, who here was hit by the stricken wheel of Alex Marquez about an hour and a half ago, it feels like now. Somehow, with an injured left hand, he's going to ride to his second Grand Prix victory at the Barcelona-Catalunya circuit. Dijan Antonio with 2 more corners to go for the VR46 Ducati squad at one of Valentino Rossi's favourite circuits. He's going to win the race. Ayagura! Oh! And he has taken out Pedro Acosta. Cruel on Acosta. Antonio wins. Juan Mir is second for Honda, remarkably. Fermin Aldeguer is third. Agura will have something hanging over his head, I'm sure, after that one. Bagnaia is fifth. Jorge Martin rode back, and 19th for him, or 18th it will be across the line. This is that move again, Neil.
Yeah, I mean, it just takes the handlebars completely out of Pedro's hand. Just a bit of brain fade. It's a big mistake, and he's cleaned a rider out, and it's a big crash. I can't even believe that.
Yeah,
that's
horrible.
so unlucky.
So fast, thank goodness, first of all, that Pedro is okay. Well, take a deep breath, take it all in. Last hour and a half, he's seen a stricken wheel hit him at 130 miles an hour. KTM just don't know what's gone on. We don't know what's gone on. We're going to try and bring it all together when we come back from the break.
The clay tells its own story, bearing the scars of every
Well, second place, Raul Fernandez and Jorge Martin. But there will be some interesting and fraught discussions across the two Aprilia teams after that one.
Yeah, a very sort of sarcastic applause from Jorge Martin. It's another Aprilia rider. It's, you know, he's fighting for the World Championship, and with the greatest respect to Raul Fernandez, I mean, he's been declared he's been cleared of any wrongdoing by the FI MotoGP2. Agüero's got a 3-second penalty. He was busted with a long lap for the contact with Acosta. Of course, he had no time to serve it, so he gets a 3-second penalty. Look at those scenes, wonderful scenes, magnificent scenes, as Valentino Rossi congratulates his race winner, Fabio Di Gianantonio.
Ayagura down to 9th place. So Marco Bezzecchi, that won't help Jorge Martin's mood either, because that promotes Marco Bezzecchi now up, after all the drama, to 5th place.
That was very un-Agüero-like, wasn't it? Normally, when Ayagura's making overtakes in MotoGP, they are clean as a whistle. Contact though with Pedro Acosta. Pedro Acosta's crew. Let's hope that Acosta is okay. A very eventful, a very dramatic race day. Yeah, look at all the scuff marks on Fabio Di Gianantonio's leathers after he was on the floor in the aftermath of the Marquez. That penalty that's come the way of Agüero then drops him from 4th down to 9th. The 3-second penalty that puts Brad Binder up into 8th. But wonderful scenes, emotional scenes for Fabio Di Gianantonio, because that was not easy. That was a tough 12 laps for all of those riders. Juan, see on the graphic, Juan Mir's name with Razgatlioglu for
be on the podium yet.
Could be on the podium.
Of course, that will all get sorted out in the next hour or so. I hope the race direction and the stewards haven't booked flights back home this evening. Under tyre pressure investigations. Don't worry about Fernandez, because he was down in 16th. Toprak might lose a point, he was in 15th. But the key story there, which I think is just being relayed to Juan Mir, is that he and Pecco Bagnaia, who were 2nd and 4th in this Grand Prix, are under investigation for their tyre pressures. What else can happen this afternoon?
What a day. What a day we have had here in Barcelona. Of course, amidst all the celebration, thoughts to Alex Marquez and Joan Zarco, riders caught up in nasty accidents that brought out 2 red flags here today in Catalonia. Both of them. Fabio Di Gianantonio, he rode, there he is. He's got the battle scars to show what a tough afternoon it was for the Italian. What a day for VR46 as well. And 2.5s, winning here in 250s. Did a whole bunch of winning here in MotoGP as well. So a race-winning rider here in MotoGP in the past, Valentino Rossi, and now Digia didn't need a 2009 special on Jorge Lorenzo at the final corner like Rossi did all those years ago.
Jack and Valentino will go up onto the podium to accept the winning constructor prize because he's been
19, was it? The old
Jerez
members.
2020.
Yeah, Jerez 2020, of course it was, yeah. Aston was his last win, I believe, wasn't it, all those years ago. So this story has not reached a conclusion. We haven't got the final chapter written at the moment. Just a reminder, there are riders under a time pressure investigation, including Joan Mir, Fermin Aldeguer, and it could be third up to second. What a ride by Aldeguer. He's with Jack.
Fermin, what a performance, what a story it's been since the start of the year. You broke your leg in January, now 4-5 months later, you're back onto a MotoGP podium. Just talk us through the journey you've been on this year.
But we are back here in the podium for sure. In not an easy weekend because we start in the 15th position for yellow. We are here. This race is for all my people, also for my teammate. I hope he's okay, and yes, I'm super happy.
Well said. Great to see you back.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's had some tough times, some dark days, Fermin Aldeguer. Of course, it was right at the start of January where he fractured a femur. He came from, well, he was 15th on the grid in the initial running. He started the restart in 8th, and this was the key move. Acosta just had nothing. Acosta had no edge grip whatsoever, sitting duck through the fast corners. Nevertheless, that's a ballsy move there from Fermin Aldeguer to fire it on the Acosta. What is going through the mind of the KTM rider right now? Fastest on Friday, pole position. He loses the closest sprint in history. He was a leader for so much of the initial running of that Catalan Grand Prix. He did so much of the front running in our second restart, and there's not even a podium, not even a finish. Joan Mir in front of his home crowd. Let's get his thoughts with Jack.
Magnificent ride. How much does this mean to get the Honda onto the podium and to do it here on home soil?
Yeah, feels amazing. You know, we've been dreaming for this and working very hard during all the first part of the season, but many crashes. But hopefully today we could put everything together. I enjoyed a lot the racing, despite 2 red flags, 3 starts. Johan and Tonso Alex, wishing them the best, and yeah, hopefully to see them in Mugello.
Great job today.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. This was Mir's move then on the brakes into turn 1. That's not an easy move to make because we know how good Pedro Acosta was braking into that first corner, but he had no momentum through 13 and 14 to propel him down through his first podium of the campaign, his first into Milan. Well, they are thrilled to bits, aren't they, here in Barcelona? A real tough day for Fabio Di Gianantonio. Didn't even get the option of Alex Marquez's tyres that was flying through the air after that scary incident on the run down to turn 10. He kisses the number 49. He might be kissing farewell to Ducati and VR46 at the end of Matteo Flamini. Matteo did so much winning. It's his backroom crew for so many years. But here he is then for just the second time in his MotoGP career. Fabio Di Gianantonio getting the congratulations. There's Big Tonio, your race winner here in Catalunya. He's with Jack.
Fabio, after being involved in that scary incident, you showed extraordinary courage, grit, determination to go out there and win the Catalan Grand Prix. Just talk us through how you managed to refocus and go out and win that.
I'm so happy, but first of all, I was really worried about all the riders crashed. Today has not been. We know that our sport is amazing. We try to give an amazing show, but also we are humans. We are in danger. So I really hope that everybody's safe. Joan, I saw Pecco a little injured. Also an amazing job. We were looking for it since a long time. So we must be proud and happy.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Ciao a tutti.
Yeah, great words there. But in this dramatic fashion, chaotic scene in Ducati. He got a big whack, obviously, on the left lower arm, didn't he, Fabio Di Gianantonio? But he was eligible for the restart. He was fit enough for the restart. This rider on circuit was Digia. and he proved it once again here today. It's a phenomenal victory. That was his race-winning overtake, threw on a Costa on the brakes in the turn 10, and from that moment onwards he never looked back. And this is the sweet taste of success. Fabio Di Giannantonio, a race winner for 2 different Ducati teams now in the MotoGP World Championship. Look at the boss. He is absolutely ecstatic. V is for Valentino, V is for victory for VR46 here in Barcelona.
Of course, our thoughts are still with those, as Fabio Di Giannantonio's was, on those injured. Just was tweeted a few minutes ago. Joan Zarco is going to the left leg. Of course, the last update we had from Grassini on Alex Marquez is that he is conscious and off to hospital for further examinations.
Yeah, there is confirmation, and that information is our thoughts and speedy recovery to both Joan Zarco and to Alex Marquez. World champions, top talents, top riders, and as Fabio Di Giannantonio was quite right to point out there, yeah, we are professional racers, we earn our living at over 200 miles an hour, but ultimately as well, we are humans, we feel emotion. They don't want to see scenes like they were involved in involving. Race mode is on, they are the best in the business.
Bravo Digia.
Grazie per
Come
me.
stai?
Stato meglio.
Ma che ti hai fatto male qui o caduta?
Spaventosa, cazzo. Io ho preso la ruota davanti, credo, con la forcella.
Sì, l'ho visto.
Oggi è stata una giornata. Oggi.
Sì.
Anche se facevo ultima andava bene.
Yeah.
Se stiamo tutti bene, spero. Non so cosa ha fatto Alex, ma se stiamo tutti
sta
bene.
bene. Qualcosina.
Mamma mia.
Mira.
Anche...
Io ce li ho fatta, loco.
Oh, guidavi.
Grazie Dio, si prende il rischio.
No, però.
Te anche. La verità è che è pulito.
Ma tu invece entri che è un controllo incredibile, sei proprio bravo. Bravo Gian, complimenti.
Grazie Dio.
Oh,
Sí.
la puta.
Raúl ha entrado fuerte.
Hola.
Sí.
Joder.
Sí.
Por suerte, che non l'ha pillado.
Sí.
Wow.
Qui la prima curva si arriva velocissimo, troppo, tutti gli anni. Qui si deve partire molto più davanti, sai?
Sì.
Arrivare in quarta, non bisogna arrivare a 300.
Che già quarta
sì,
è forte già.
Però non bisogna arrivare a 300,
sì,
sai?
è vero.
Wow.
Cosa ha fatto Pedro alla fine?
Lo que íbamos de goma cocidos todos.
Sí, yo aquí me metió por dentro todo un trecho. Mira. Sí que... ¡Wow!
No.
Sí que se la ha
non lo
llevado,
sapevo questo.
loco.
Sí, lo ha llevado, sí.
La Virgen.
Vale.
Il capo. Bene. Corta, eh?
Sì.
Meglio.
Sì, la grande.
Muy bien, señores. Muy bien.
So the top 3 have started to process what has been a pretty dramatic day here in Barcelona. Fabio Di Giannantonio, as it stands right now as well, Dwan Mir will stand on the podium. For how much longer his second place will stand, just a reminder, he with Toprak Razgatlioglu, Ralph Fernandez, Alex Rins, Jack Miller and Pekka Bagnaia, all under investigation for a possible tyre pressure infringement. But let's look at the glass half full. The top 3 come to the podium.
Yeah, please don't ask us to try and work out what the new result will be. We'll let that get sorted out if indeed there are any changes later on. It's Pablo Nieto who will accept the prize on behalf of VR46 today. And Fermin Aldeguer, well, what are we talking? 4.5 months ago, he broke his femur. Now he would have expected to be on the podium in race 6 of the season. Whatever the circumstances, that's a heck of a result for Fermin Aldeguer. As it stands, it is second place for the 2020 World Champion. And there's no question, is there, that when he does, if he is allowed to keep it, that would be his 3rd podium in, the last 10 Grand Prix. But for Fabio Di Giannantonio, we fancied him after the way he ended the sprint yesterday. Was Digia, who emerged triumphant an hour after he was taken to the floor by a wheel and front forks that have been ripped out of Alex Marquez's Grassini Ducati. Congratulations to VR46. Fermin Aldeguer, well, we know him. Just 21 years of age. Might well potentially be in the colours of VR46 next time he comes here. Juan Mir, 16th as it stands, MotoGP podium, and his third in Honda colours. As I said, they've all come in the last 10 Grand Prix, going back to Motegi last year. Opportunity presented by the drama up ahead. Certainly went and grabbed it. But today is Digia's day. We've left Alex Marquez and Joan Zarco for the second time in MotoGP. Well, they go to Fabio Di Gianantonio.
Coming into race day when he started the initial running back in 15th place. So Digia does it then here in Catalonia. And next up, what a boost. What an injection of some confidence. Not that he needed it, but guess where we're going next? We're going home for the Jerez, Le Mans, Barcelona, and next up, one of the best. We go to the Tuscany Mountains in Mugello, where Valentino Rossi will be looking for back-to-back wins as a team owner. Can Fabio Di Gianantonio make it back-to-back? We will find out in just a couple of weeks' time. So Digia, Mir, Aldeguer as your podium. Pedro Acosta still chasing, still winless in the MotoGP World Championship. Once again, he put up a tremendous fight, but once again, unfortunately, just coming up short. You can only fight with the tools in your hands at the moment. It just looks like the KTM. Juan Mir on the Honda shining. That has been a recent Grand Prix. There's been mistakes, there's been some bad luck. But today, Mir, for the time being at least, is second in the standings. There are his factory Honda celebrating over the long years. Their first, of course, since Joan Zarco won the French Grand Prix last year. But it is VR46's just 2 weeks' time as we go to the Brembo Grand Prix of Italy, sandwiched in between the beautiful cities of Bologna and Florence in the heart of the Tuscany Mountains. Let's hope for more magic in...
Fabio Di Gianantonio is your winner of the Catalan Grand Prix. Juan Mir provisionally second, ahead of Fermin Aldeguer and Pecco Bagnaia. The riders in second and fourth are both under investigation. Fabio Quartararo, Marini, Binder, Agura got a long lap penalty, or the equivalent of, for taking down Acosta at the last corner. That left him ninth, ahead of Moreira, Rins, Morbidelli, Vinales, Miller and Toprak. Miller and Toprak are also under investigation. Martin did ultimately come home. In fact, he was unclassified, despite being shown there as 58 seconds back, and livid with Raul Fernandez, who took him out on lap one. That all leaves, as it stands, Bezzecchi 13 gains third place in the World Championship from Pedro Acosta, and only sits 24 points off the lead now. Aprilia's Constructors' Championship lead is cut today by Ducati's victory. It's now 14 points. And in the Teams' Championship, VR46 now split Aprilia and Trackhouse as their team managers needed a bit of separating today. afternoon. These are the highlights from this followed incidents for Alex Marquez, Pedro Acosta, Fabio Di Giannantonio at the initial restart. Raul Fernandez also involved. We wish Alex Marquez all the best as he's on his way to hospital for further examinations. Of course, a second crash involving Johan Zarco, Luca Marini and Pecco Bagnaia, which has left Zarco with a left leg injury, and that was on lap 1 of the eventual Grand Prix we got. I think at that point maybe the path was clear for Pedro Acosta with two close Aprilias out of the action. Joan Mir was leading the chase before Fabio Di Giannantonio picked up the baton. 49 on 37. Di Giannantonio, after not exactly making friends with Acosta for his pass on him at the last lap a week ago, certainly not helping Pedro Acosta's mood today either. Joan Mir would ultimately seize second place. Of course, we remind you that is Praveen inside to snatch third place. The drama wasn't done there, with Ayagura looking to snatch fourth, contact with a but out of all the drama and all the mayhem, Fabio Di Giannantonio is your winner at the Catalan Grand Prix. Our thoughts and best wishes go to Alex Marquez and Johan Zarco, who were injured today. We will see you in a couple of weeks' time in Magellan.
Absolute show-stopping start. Unbelievable. What a start from Jorge Martin. Martin from 8th to 1st. The key word. Marquez has dumped it again.
A Saturday afternoon nightmare for the reigning world champion.
I was not constant and arrived at strange crashes, and for that reason also the body is not following what I want, and I need to take a rest.
The sprint here is going to finish in phenomenal fashion for Jorge Martin as he takes the checkered flag first. It is a record 18th sprint success for the Martinator. What a ride, what a performance. What lies in store though now ahead of the 2026 4.19km Bugatti circuit. No Marquez on the front row. We wish him a speedy recovery after his big sprint crash yesterday. 26. Lights out and we're racing here in Le Mans. It's a great start from pole position by Pecco Bagnaia. He goes to the gearbox over the front wheel, comes down with smoke though from Bagnaia. Great start by Marco Bezzecchi. Bezzecchi it is that leads. Acosta's up in second place and Quartararo third. Quartararo on Acosta into turn 6.
And Zarco. Bagnaia now attacking Fabio Di Giannantonio. He's running fifth again as Bagnaia takes it. Someone's down at the first gate. I think it's Alex Marquez. Attacking again.
Pedro Acosta goes on the inside of the Frenchman into the Blue S. Is lovely move that by Bagnaia on the inside of Quartararo on that long run through the first corner. Here comes Pecco on the inside, surely of Acosta into turn 3. Martin sends it on the inside of Didier into turn 7. Sunday disasters continue. What a weekend to forget it has been for the factory, the Catty team. Bagnaia dumps it out of second place. Martin on the podium. By Martin, he's second.
Here's Ayagura on another fast closing Aprilia.
This is where Agura has been strong. How defensive will Acosta go? Can Acosta do anything? No, he can't. We're going to have an Aprilia 1, 2, 3 here in Le Mans. He comes from a long, long way back, and Jorge Martin on the inside of Bezzecchi into turn 3. Jorge Martin wins the French Grand Prix here in Le Mans for the second time in 3 seasons. He completes a dream double. Winner of the sprint, winner of the Grand Prix. What a factory. Aprilia, for the first time in their history, have a 1, 2, 3. Welcome to Spain, welcome to Jerez. We're racing in the sprint here. Bike is ready for rain conditions.
Toprak has gone down.
Oh, Mark's gone down. The reigning world champion on the deck. Alex last in this sprint here from pole position. Alex Marquez then clashes out of the lead at this sprint. Oh, now Bezzecchi, the World Championship lead's gone down. This now is a sprint of survival. Marc Marquez is going for the lead. Super aggressive to take victory in a truly sensational sprint here in Spain. Insanity here. The greatest motorsport show on earth has arrived at one of its greatest and most iconic venues. It is the World Championship. This is lights out to the race team on the GP here in the Spanish Grand Prix. What a start it is for Marc Marquez. Good start from the second row, 2 from Alex Marquez. Aprilia is an absolute rocket off the line. Bezzecchi up in the second. Jorge Martin's come from 10th to 5th. Has already gained 6 places on this first lap.
After the flag from the Catalan Grand Prix, we're around about an hour and a half after when the Grand Prix should have finished. Louis Soderby and Jack Appleyard with you. We did ultimately get a Catalan Grand Prix, which has been largely overshadowed by 2 significant incidents. The first that brought the race to a halt around about half distance, involving Pedro Acosta, whose KTM broke down on the back straight between turns 9 and 10. He was run into the back off by Alex Marquez. Debris showering the racetrack, including Fabio Di Giannantonio and Ralph Fernandez. Has been taken to hospital for further checks. He has been reported conscious. We send him all our very best. Our primary thoughts are with him today. A second incident at the second of 3. Johan Zarco, the latest information from the LCR team is that he's conscious and he's on his way to hospital for further examinations on a left leg injury. Before we come on to the winner and something of a cloud in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Echo your sentiments. We send our very best to Alex, to Joan, to the riders that were affected in those incidents, and it's a day where, before anything else, you just have to give the utmost respect for the courage and the bravery. We go on time and time again about what we often forget, but that is exactly what they're doing, and battle to the bitter end for every point, for every place on offer. It's huge credit to them, and massive respect is always to riders, and then secondly to every MotoGP rider out there today that was able to go out and see the checkered flag.
Yeah, all our thoughts, our best wishes to Johan Zarco and Alex Marquez, and we wish them a Switzerland Grand Prix. And for the first time since Qatar 2023, that winner is Fabio Di Gianantonio. An extraordinary story for him. Of course, he was one of the riders who was taken down. Marquez was far from 100%. He had pain in his hand, but the perfect painkiller he got today, 25 points in the second MotoGP win.
Yeah, remarkable courage and bravery, grit, determination. You can get the Taurus out and throw it all in the direction of Fabio Di Gianantonio. You might have noticed in Parc Fermé, he kept that right glove on, and that is because there's a pretty significant wound on that right hand after some debris from Alex Marquez's bike clattered into the right handlebar of Fabio Di Gianantonio, which caused him to crash out. He then picked the bike up, and you do not have to restart this race. And he said, I'm him, because he emotion for Fabio. We always say that Fabio, for me, is one of the paddock's great characters, because he's so eloquent. He's often so able to. The elation of victory was there, but it was overshadowed. He knew that today wasn't a normal Grand Prix, and that there will be an asterisk next to it given what unfolded, but he does deserve, because he started this season as the leading light down at Ducati. Marc Marquez has added injury issues. Alex Marquez has been up and down, and on another day maybe would have won the Grand Prix today, because before that incident things didn't go his way. Pushed wide by Johan Zarco, was had to do it the hard way, and was on course, I think, to take victory, which Fabio Di Gianantonio wasn't going to fight for. But the things unfolded in the way in which they unfolded, and today things went in the favour.
On top of at the moment, the starts, which, to be fair, it's easy to forget, he didn't exactly make a great start this afternoon, did he? Got the front wheel skywards off the line and was able to recover from that ultimately to win the Grand Prix. And it all goes against the backdrop of stories that he's leaving VR46 at the end of this season, and it sounds from speaking to you in pit lane, Uche Salucci hasn't given up hope. Juan Mir today, Juan Mir, the 2020 World Champion, all provisional because he is under investigation for a potential tyre pressure sanction. Let's get his reaction now after second place. He's speaking to Matt Burt.
Yeah, well, we can say congratulations. A first podium of 2026 for Honda star Juan Mir. Juan, it's quite gone your way, so to finally get the job done today.
But you know, as you could see in the race, I have to ride very on the limit, and this is something that you cannot top 6, 7, but to make this last step with these guys, you have to make something more. And here is where we have to improve. Honestly, so happy about making a point here in Barcelona. It's not the best racetrack for us, and we've been able to make a very good race. So we took a big risk there. Hopefully they are okay, and we can see them in Mugello. That is the most important thing, or as soon as possible. And a part of that, I feel very good.
As you mentioned, it's been a pretty difficult day at times today, Juan. I mean, how hard is it for you guys? I mean, we know this is part of the game. It's unfortunately what can happen in MotoGP, but it's not easy to get yourself back in the zone, back in the focus when we've had 2 red flags after 2 big incidents.
Yeah. The thing is that the risk today was very, very high. Here in Mugello, in Montmeló, always happens something in the start. Yesterday with Brad and we have to try to think about something to make that first corner a little bit safer, because the risk was high. And then, a part of what happened with, we have to learn from these things. This is something that you cannot train. You cannot train for this. It's the experience that MotoGP gives to you in this type of situation to handle in the best way possible. And today we managed the situation well, so I'm happy.
You got to race the KTM, you got to race the Ducati today as well. So podium without being so close to the limit.
Yes, well, honestly, I had to be very focused behind Pedro. I let him make all the hard work at the beginning of the race. He was riding very good. Also, our riding becomes very similar, so I don't have to make a huge effort to follow him. Then probably Dija was riding in a different way, and you struggle a bit more to follow. For me, the key point on the race was when I took too much time to overtake Pedro, but I was making sure that I was not crashing. So I wanted to be calm. I wanted to don't make any mistake. Then Dija overtook me. I saw that there was a bit of gap with Fermin was, and when I see that Fermin was approaching, I overtook Pedro. But I think that I had. But before running, you have to walk, and it's okay.
Well, today you were walking very, very fast, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Great job by you and Honda. Well done. Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, for now it's second place for Juan Mir, so let's take it as we see it for the moment. Opportunity presented itself and he went out there and grabbed it.
Yeah, I spoke to Alessio Spargo before the race and he said, Juan has a real opportunity today, and I have to say, he deserved it. He was brilliant. You could see where the Honda deficiencies are. They struggled through the fast corners to really carry any momentum onto the start-finish straight, and in particular when he was up against Ducatis and KTMs, who set a new top speed record here at this circuit this weekend. He was buried beneath the tank, just praying that he could try and draft his way past Pedro Acosta, but there was never going to be any way through. And of course, trying to do Acosta of all people on the grid on the brakes is a pretty difficult task. But yeah, superb ride from Joan Mir. He gets a lot of stick, given the fact that, yes, he doesn't see checkered flags often enough, but that is because
that's the upside.
He's all in. When he sees an opportunity, he is fighting to the very, very end to try and maximise every single race, every single weekend. He's also probably the most unluckiest rider on the grid. How many times has he been taken out? He referenced it there. He got wiped out yesterday, yet again. So huge credit to Joan Mir, and pulling off, or trying to pull off, a Marc Marquez next year, a swap from the factory Honda squad to Gresini Ducati. And we all know he's a world champion for a reason, he's a race winner for a reason. With that potential on a Ducati, I think in 2027, we'll see if it gets announced that it is true, but if it is true, certainly one to watch, because if Joan Mir gets the spark back and he's given the tools to be able to fight at the front, he is a top talent.
Yeah, we said during the commentary during the race, I think even, given that there was a real opportunity there for him, we're doing our best to hear from Fabio Gianantonio. He has been in the medical centre, but we believe he's on his way, so we'll catch up with him very, very shortly. There are a few big incidents to cover off. Very quickly, let's just cover off the first of them. On lap 1 of the Grand Prix, Raul Fernandez and Jorge Martin. In fact, hold that thought. We'll discuss it shortly, because Fabio Gianantonio has had some treatment on that wounded hand. He's now ready to speak to Matt Burt. Over to Matt.
Yeah, I'm here with our eventual race racing team rider, Fabio. Your first win since Qatar 20 as well. The boss was watching. Valentino was trackside as well. We'll come on to some of the drama that you experienced today. First and foremost, the win. How does it feel on a difficult Sunday? And first and foremost, congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a crazy Sunday. Yeah, I'm happy about the win. I'm happy about the performance, because for sure we need to get this result. But I think our win today is that everybody is more or less safe. They are okay. I knew that Juan got injured, but he's okay. Alex too. Me, wins that we can have also, to respect also. But first of all, we are humans. So, yeah, roller coaster day, let's say.
A very roller coaster day, Fabio. We have to touch upon the first red flag, because you were involved. I mean, a super scary incident with Pedro and Alex, and then I think actually it was the front wheel of Alex that made contact with you. I mean, just talk us through what happened from your perspective. I mean, it's super scary.
I still didn't see, I didn't see yet the images. I just saw a lot of pieces going around, and just tried to honestly hide myself inside the fairing and try to, pass through. Then it was not like this, but then honestly I don't know what happened. I knew that maybe Pedro got a problem or something, but after that it's difficult to understand well what I was. Everything super fast. I just tried to hide myself. That's it.
You've been great on that Ducati all year long. It's felt like this win has been coming. We saw in the 12-lap sprint yesterday, those last 2 or 3 laps, you were the fastest rider on circuit. So today you must have felt confident if you could get a good start, which you didn't get away with the good, that you had a great chance of the win.
Yeah, we knew that it could be a great opportunity today. I'm super happy on the motorsport side that this win was so necessary for me and the team. It is my first win with this team, and it's a big thank you to them also for the past. That they chose me when nobody were choosing me, and I promised them great results, and finally we achieved our first win together. So on that side, I'm super happy about the win for me and the team.
And just finally, that first win did come in. So to take that first win for the team with Valentino watching trackside, I mean, that's just that extra sort of cherry on top of the cake.
It's amazing to have Vale here. He helped us so much during the... I could never dream about it, you know, so it happened, it is amazing. Once I stopped, it was a pretty emotional moment on track, so yeah, it's been a crazy day, believe me, a crazy day.
It certainly was a crazy day, and I think that the best thing Fabio Gian Antonio said there was right at the beginning of the interview when he said the biggest win today is that it would appear that we've got everybody out of this Grand Prix weekend more or less okay. Let's return to the two big incidents then. One on the first lap, one on the last lap, both involving Trackhouse Aprilias, and it's fair to say Aprilia Trackhouse relations might need some repairing after that one.
Yeah, for the opening 5 rounds of the year, it has been such happy families down at Aprilia. First and second in the team's championship, all 4 riders onto the podium, they've been hugging each other, kissing each other. Well, it all started to fracture after Ralph Fernandez took out Jorge Martin, and when Martin came back into the box, you had him quite remarkably pushing Paolo Bonora and getting straight up into the face of Massimo Rivola to just share his disgust at the move in which Ralph Fernandez put on him. Again, quite remarkably, Ralph Fernandez not given any kind of penalty. It was under investigation, but the stewards deciding that it wasn't worthy of a penalty, which I know for a fact Aprilia are not happy about at all. From watching the incident over a couple of times, I can imagine that the stewards' argument will be that Jorge Martin didn't give up the position. Ralph Fernandez did go for the move, was on the inside.
The front tyres are sort of level with each other, aren't
yes, and Martin leant on him, didn't give him any space, maybe played his role in the collision, but the fact of the matter is, Ralph Fernandez has ridden into the side of Jorge Martin and taken him out of the Grand Prix.
Riders fighting for a world championship.
Yep.
To be taken out by one of your independent team riders, whatever side of the fence you're on in terms of the penalty, surely, what was the phrase we heard from Massimo Rivola speaking to you about treating with respect between the Aprilia riders? Their argument clearly will be that they don't think they got the due respect from their independent team.
No, on the first lap, it was the smartest move from Ralph Fernandez. I don't think he's engaged brain particularly well there, and respect wasn't really shown to his Aprilia counterpart to try and squeeze his way through, because even if he didn't take him out, there was always going to be contact. He was always going to push him wide. He was always going to disrupt his race. A big situation now. I mean, out of all of it, with the penalties, if they do come the way of Joan Mir and Pecco Bagnaia, quite remarkably, Marco Bezzecchi might end up on the podium. He'll be fighting for the World Championship. He's not looked comfortable all weekend. Let's hope for Marco Bezzecchi's side of the garage that is just a result of this anomaly of a circuit where 5 rounds of the year, but suddenly you almost come away from this weekend thinking that the one man that's going to be happiest is going to be Marc Marquez, sat at home watching all of this unfold, watching it start to frack. You keep getting in each other's way, because when I come back, I think we said this in Le Mans as well, we thought it was a hugely impactful weekend for the Grand Prix, for the season, and this again feels like another one. I mean, a point where you just have to go race by race. I hate when riders and team managers tell me that. I really do. I hate it, but it's true.
They all add up ultimately, and if Marco Bezzecchi does get 3rd place, if the tyre pressure penalties do come the way of Mir and Bagnaia, he'll be 18 points ahead all of a sudden of Jorge Martin. And I think the major source of the anger as well for Martin was that all of a sudden, the way everything was transpiring, he was in a position to win the Grand Prix potentially in the end. 2nd place to Joan Mir. That could fall into the hands of Fermin Aldeguer if a penalty comes to play, but for now, Fermin is 3rd, and of course he broke his femur back in January. 6 races later, he's on the podium. He's with Matt.
Well, for the first time in 2026, and what's been a pretty challenging 2026 so far for Fermin Aldeguer. Congratulations, Fermin, on the podium here at the end of that dramatic day here in Catalonia. Not an easy day for the team, not an easy period for you, but here you are inside the
super difficult day. For sure, I'm super tired in the mental side, because you are in 100% with all the adrenaline. You stop this focus on the race. For sure, it's not nice do this kind of pressure when you have other riders in the hospital. Manage this feeling inside the box, to be honest, because when the rider is in the floor, in the middle of the track, and you are in the box and you don't have it, we have to continue focusing in that moment. I think I didn't expect this race for sure. Inside the top 5, inside the top 6, but started in the 15th position. It's always difficult. Unlucky for all the other riders, but lucky for me. Then I restart with the new tires in the 8th position. This helped me to be closer to the podium. The feeling during the whole weekend was super good. The good way with this difficult bike, but this is all positive thing, more motivation to continue, and I hope Zarco and Marquez will be okay.
You just said that for me, and obviously we saw you brilliant last year in your rookie season, but this year difficult with this bike. What do you still feel like you're missing? What are you still searching for with the new Ducati?
Yes, with the injury, we missed the Malaysia test, Thailand test, first race. We need more kilometers. But yeah, we are doing a good job. From Brazil, when I started the season, I felt super comfortable with this bike. I miss turn close on the turns. I miss also this final grip. Than the last year I was super fast, and today we find some solution also in Le Mans, and how I say, this is more motivation to continue.
And just finally, what does it mean to you and the team after this very, very difficult period? We know you broke the femur in early January. You lost, as you said, so much track time, so many kilometres. So how much did you need this result, this podium, after this difficult start to the season?
A lot, because it's not easy when you are at home and you look at the other rider doing his 100%. And you are in the sofa, but I'm working all days with my personal trainer, with my physio. A lot of hours inside the hyperbaric camera also, and yeah, I'm so proud also for myself, and just continue.
Fermin, congratulations. Our thoughts obviously are with the Gresini team as well, and a speedy recovery.
Marquez. Fermin Aldeguer, as I think he pretty much admitted there, this podium ahead of schedule for where he thought he'd be in this season. However, fortunate because of what happened elsewhere. It's for the journey.
Fermin said there, he's nowhere near 100% still. When he gets off the bike, when he's walking to the bike, he still has a huge limp. He's struggling to get up and down flights of stairs. He's working the talent that Fermin Aldeguer is. The way in which he won the Indonesian Grand Prix last year showcased that, and it's easy to forget he's still only, 21 is he now? Has he turned 21?
21, yeah.
So there's such a future ahead of him, and the second half of the season, when he gets to 100%, when he starts to feel that he can ride the bike in a way that he will going into next year, is someone that will be challenging for race wins on a regular basis. His team fully believe that. Ducati fully believe that, and I think everyone in the paddock fully believes that when 100%
lap involving a Trackhouse Aprilia, and one on the last lap. Ayagura taking down Pedro Acosta in what was a battle ultimately for 4th place on the very last lap. I think given that he got a long lap for that one, and I have to say, when Raul Fernandez and Jorge Martin went out on the first lap, I thought, Pedro Acosta, your name is on the trophy here today, given that he had Juan Mir, Fabio Quartararo.
Just a real tough day for Pedro. His side of the box, all of the KTM team, because they will have been thinking the same. Even on the grid beforehand, they'll have felt the fact that this is the biggest opportunity we've had in a very long time, maybe ever. And in the end, 4th place on the gravel trap, I don't think it makes too much difference to Pedro Acosta, because he will be so gutted to have that opportunity slip through his fingers. It'd be fascinating to hear from him, which I'm sure you will be able to. First race in particular, I mean, there's no point going over things that haven't gone your way, that you can't control the uncontrollables. What's happened happens, but I'm sure he'll feel, despite Alex closing on him, he was looking comfortable. He was maintaining his pace. We heard from Paul Travatted on the grid, and they knew what the target lap time was going to be for the end of the race, even if Alex would have gone past him. And then what happened in the sprint was evident. The soft tyres just didn't come to him. It finishes in the gravel trap, and I think that just about sums up the way in which the day finished for Pedro. He'll pick himself up, he'll go again, but as we say so often on this show, like with Fabio Quartararo at Silverstone last year, opportunities to win MotoGP races come around very, very not often.
Rarely.
Rarely, that's the word I was looking for. And if you don't take advantage of those opportunities, then you're probably going to sit at home at night and think, where did it get away? I'm sure Fabio does that looking at Silverstone now, nearly 12 months on, and let's hope for Pedro it's not 12 months on.
Reaction, we've already discussed the flashpoint on the first lap. Ralph Fernandez and Jorge Martin. Martin visibly livid when he returned to the Aprilia box. Let's get Jorge's reaction now.
Across the Grand Prix itself, but also for you, let's talk about the incident with Raul first. Have you had a chance to speak with him, digest, talk things over? How do you read the situation, and what an opportunity?
To Alex and to Johan, for me, knowing that they are alive and they can continue now recovering for sure, but for me this is the most important thing. I think I don't know if it was necessary to continue with the show, because after this incident, the ambulances on the track, I think we have to think a bit also on the human side. I mean, for me, it's not a problem to continue racing. I can get into concentration. Every race I was doing, I was feeling stronger and stronger. So I had the potential for sure for the victory. But yeah, this is racing, and see you all this weekend. Anyway, pointed about how I entered into the box. I tried to relax during the race, but as soon as I entered, everything went high again, the tension, and yeah, I want to sorry and apologize to Paolo.
There was no penalty for Raul at all, and it was declared racing incident.
I don't have any comment about the incident. You can watch it again on the television. Yesterday happened the same, today again.
To him since as the air cleared.
I called him, I looked for him into his office, but he wasn't, so I will go now.
Coming away from this weekend, it feels like overall for Aprilia it was a weekend that had a lot of promise, but on paper the results weren't really there for one reason or another. Is that a fair assessment, that the potential wasn't reached this week?
I'll say I was P4, then P3, then P2, so the potential, even on a really tough weekend, I was able to fight for the victory or the podium. So I'm pretty happy with the performance, with how we developed the bike, and I'm really looking forward to Mugello.
Mugello next, home GP for Aprilia. What can we expect?
Let's see. For sure, back to the normal setup. I really love it, and yeah, I think Aprilia can perform well.
See you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Kiko Giles with the questions there. A classy response in the end from Jorge Martin. I think acknowledging as we the Aprilia box. Let's move it forward then, as Kiko was there, to Jorge, to Mugello in a couple of weeks' time. Marco Bezzecchi might yet get out of this, as you say, with a rather fortuitous